Good morning, everybody,
Good morning.
and welcome to another edition of the Wednesday AM Meditative Writing Circle. My name is Halana Black, and we gather every Wednesday morning to talk about a particular topic of interest so that we can practice um, we get to practice our writing and put our thoughts down on paper and share amongst other writers. So I'm excited that you all came in today. Thank you so much for being early. Um, Today our topic is we're talking about friendships. Friendships. Um, but as always, I like to be able to start with just a couple of minutes of a meditation, just to be able to ground us in the space. I need excuse me, a meditation to ground us in the space this morning. So it's up to you. If you like, you can keep your video on or off. I will keep mine on. And what I like to do is just be able to sit in my chair and close my eyes for a couple of minutes. You can just place your hands comfortably in your lap and the bottom of your feet on the floor. And you can just gather yourself from all the other places that you may have been rushing at this morning. Maybe you were rushing to be able to get dressed or thinking about where you have to be after you leave here today. But just take a moment to remember that you are here to be able to use your writing as a meditation to figure out what it is that's important to you, and to be able to have fun with other women writers who are interested in similar topics. So take a second to make sure that your shoulders are dropped down, sit up tall, and just let your breath catch up with your heartbeat. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. So thank you so much for taking the moment to participate in the meditation with me. So what we're talking about today, or what we're writing about today, is we're looking at what friendship means to us and how we learned about it and what we were taught to value in our friendships. And this was particularly important to me because I think that for a lot of us, we don't value, as I guess as a culture, we don't value our friendships as much as we do, a husband or a partner. Um, and both are important, but I think for myself, I have always, um, particularly when I was married in my younger years, I didn't have a foundation of friendship before I got married, and I think that was part of the problem when I did get married. I didn't recognize what good partnership looked like because I didn't have a foundation of good friends. And so that's really important. So and now that I'm older and would like to be married again, I like to be able to sit down and just figure out what are the partnerships in my life that I'm looking forward to, with friendship as the foundation rather than the partner. I believe that the partner will come in time, but what sorts of friendships do I want? And what do I want them to look like? So the first prompt for today is write about a moment when friendship made you feel deeply seen or understood. Write about a moment when friendship made you feel deeply seen or understood. And I will go ahead and put the question into the chat. I'll put 10 minutes on the clock. Okay. So the question is, write, or the statement is, write about a moment when friendship made you feel deeply seen or understood. I would love to hear your answers. If anyone would like to share.
I'll share.
Yes, please.
I wrote about a time when I was going through a very traumatic family experience, and I had been introduced to a new friend, fairly new friend. Maybe we were friends about a year or so, by a spiritual healer, and I think we had met in person by this time, but we used to talk on the phone. This was back in the early '80s, and this particular spiritual healer had introduced us to each other. He thought we would be a good match as friends, and as time went on, we chatted all the time on the phone, quite for months before we met in person. But anyway, something happened, something traumatic happened in my family, and I confided in her. We confided in each other, all the time, and she we lived in New Jersey at the time. I lived in Trenton and she lived in Elizabeth, and she took me to um an acupuncturist in Harlem, and I just thought it was such a loving act. I don't even remember how we connected, because I was coming from Trenton, she was coming from Elizabeth. Maybe we met in Penn Station in New York or something, I don't know. And she took me, to this brother in Harlem, and we had a consultation and acupuncture, and that's the first thing that popped into my mind when you posed this question. And we're still friends today. We don't talk as much, but over the years we have, shared a lot. But that was the one incident that came up for me this morning.
Mhm. I love that. And so she saw that you were in pain of some kind, and then she tried to
Yes,
help you relieve it.
yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's the beautiful thing. Your friends, or people who are friendly, or people who want to be friends with you, will see when you're hurting, and they won't add to the hurt. They'll at least attempt to try to relieve it. So that's
Yes.
a wonderful thing.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I would like to share. Good morning,
Sure.
everybody.
Good morning.
Mhm. Okay, I wrote, the day I went to Baltimore to meet Jamila for the first time was especially gratifying. She had made cinnamon peppermint tea for us, but only had
Oh.
one conversation about loving to color, and we both had our coloring books and markers with us. We had plans to go into the sauna, but ended up just sitting, talking, being. I'm a pretty simple and easygoing person when it comes to friendship. That was definitely my cup of tea. I'm not high maintenance. I wasn't allowed to have friends as a child, but somehow I wasn't lonely. I was curious. But because I'm an only child, I escaped into other worlds through books, art, and my vivid imagination. I loved reading about how other people lived their lives. In my mind, they were my friends. I've been reading Octavia Butler interviews over the past couple of months and found that we have that much in common. That warms my heart and makes me feel normal. And Jamila made me feel loved.
It's Paul. Yay. I love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, that Jamila right there. The
Nice.
Thank
Oh,
you so much, Carolyn. You are loved as well. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm so glad that you all got to meet each other. Thank you
Yeah,
for sharing.
I
And you
wouldn't have
said
known
that
it
you made
but
a
for you.
cinnamon and peppermint tea?
Yes, I wouldn't have
That's
imagined
spicy.
it. It was delicious. We sat there and drank the whole thermos.
Mm.
I'm gonna have to try that. That sounds spicy. I like that.
It was delicious.
Wow.
Yeah, good people, they bring herbs for you.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
Anyone else?
Claire, I'll share a little bit, kind of high level. Um, I think for me, growing up, I had a sister, and I did have friends in school, but because I had a sister, I didn't feel the need to really have friends because we were so close. And I think it wasn't until I got much older and going to school and things like that. But I think I can recall a relationship when we went from a schoolmate to a work buddy to just authentic friendship, talking on the phone and having relationships. And I remember going through a rough time and I tried to reach her and I couldn't, but then I did eventually reach her and just listen to it. I was going through some stuff with my family. Well, not my family, my husband was actually very sick. And she just gave me some sound advice and some words of encouragement and prayed. And I'm always, the fixer, do everything. I can do this, I can handle this, working 3 kids, the whole 9 yards. And then she finally just said, Claire, I think you need to just take some time off. I'm like, what? What do you mean? You need to take some vacation because I'm sitting here trying to juggle all these balls, and I think I felt like I was doing it, but I guess she realized I needed to just have some quiet time and just focus on trying to get my life, back together. And so, I really appreciated that, listening to someone else besides myself. And then, several other friends have come along that I've able to share personal situations and things like that. And I'm just kind of accustomed to being the listener, the encourager, prayer warrior. And then I found myself on the other side of the table. And just like the two ladies, Carolyn and Jamila, spoke today, one of my new BFFs is right here on the phone, Sharon. And I even told her, I said, girl, when did we really start talking? We started doing something. I can't even remember because we connected so quickly, like we've known each other for years. I'm like, it's only been like a year and a half, but we just feel so close. And we work out together, we talk, we can share. It's authentic, it's God-centered, and I needed that. I had prayed to God. I like because I had moved, and even though I had friends on the phone, I really wanted someone that I can physically meet and talk to and have coffee with or work out with or do something with. And that's when Sharon came aboard. And I'm just so grateful for our friendship. Um, it's genuine, it's authentic. And I appreciate it. I really learned without, even though I'm close to my blood sister, I learned what authentic girl friendship was like because I was busy working and raising my family. And either I just didn't take time out to have a one-on-one or didn't believe I needed that one-on-one. But I did learn, unfortunately, through traumatic experiences that I did need that one-on-one. So I think Sharon and few of my other friends are just so loving and caring and keep me accountable at the same time. Because I talked to a lady yesterday and we realized we hadn't talked in months, but we worked together, not in the same building. She saw something in me, I saw something in her, and I know what it was. It was that um love for God, love for people. So when we do talk, we could just connect and just have a wonderful conversation about family, life, the world, like we've seen each other every day, like we used to. And I hadn't talked to her in months. And it was just a beautiful experience.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing that. I love to hear when people can say that they build stronger and better friendships as we grow older.
Yes.
I think that's important. I guess as you learn to grow into more of yourself, it's easier to be able to connect with people when you know who you are, because the more authentic that you are, the more people are able to connect to you. And I wanted to read what Lakeisha wrote because she shared that in the comments. I think what she wrote was important. She said, "This one is a challenge for me. I'm not sure if it's a challenge of memory or if I haven't expressed the level of vulnerability needed for someone to see or deeply understand me. Perhaps my idea of what it means to be seen or understood got in my way." And so I just wanted to recognize her comment because I think that's important. Because even for myself, I'm a very introverted person and it's just sort of grown up, not really thinking that I needed other people. And I had always been there. For some reason, I draw a lot of people who want to feel like they need to drag me around or show me things or I don't understand or so. Because I'm such a quiet person, they feel like they need to give me things, and I'm like, I'm fine. But I think as I've gotten older and gotten stronger in who I am, I think it's easier to be able to attract people. And it's not a ton of people. I don't it's not a ton of people. I've never really been attracted, or I've never been attracted to people who need to have a ton of people or empty friendships around them. And it's usually just one or two people. And especially since I've been living overseas, um, learning how to be able to make friends has really just been important. Um, when you move from one place to another, you need more people as you move to a new place. So all those things are important.
I want to share.
Yes, okay.
Context. When I was in grad school, I was in this very racist in school, and it was just maybe 8 of us Black folks, so we stuck together. So this is the context of what I'm writing. Friends, for right now or tomorrow, indigenous energy every day, night or day, soul friends. They picked me up when I needed a ride. Get in the car, girl. Why you walking? Bought me good food when I had none. Took me out to eat. Let me use their computer and printer when ours at our house was broken, just like we were broke. Say, come on over here and hang out with us. Spend a night or two when I was tired of those white folks in my house. Laughing our heads off with Mamie. Every word she said, not to mention her expressions, was so funny. We literally had to leave the room she was in, holding our stomachs to take a break because she was out of her mind ridiculous. Tears rolling from our eyes. Girl wasn't even ever trying to be funny. She was just trying to figure out life just like the rest of us. Friends all together fighting racism, but energized by each other's sisterhood.
Thank you for sharing. The guy always writes things that are so beautifully written.
Thank you.
What did I want to say about that? The experience of being in a racist environment or an environment that's somehow troubling always sort of brings people together, which I think is important right now. I see especially online, there's so many calls for people to say, they're looking for community, they're looking for friends, just because of just the difficulty of life right now, and the people expect more to be able to come down the pipeline. So friends are really important. You need friends, you need community, you need people who understand you. All of those things are important. All right, we'll move to the next question. Have you ever experienced heartbreak from a friendship ending, and how did you navigate it? Have you ever experienced heartbreak from a friendship ending, and how did you navigate it? Okay, so the question is, have you ever experienced heartbreak from a friendship ending, and how did you navigate it?
I'll share.
Yeah, Sharon.
Um, I wrote about being employed at Governor State. And I'll just summarize what I wrote. And I was very close to a couple of people, a friend, had a nice friendship. We worked together. But then I got promoted and I was their supervisor. And all of the things we used to do was really still good, but she expected extra stuff. So I was telling her, I said, we just made it to the bed. I said, when we at work, we're colleagues, and I have to respect that because I'm in a position I can't. But when we're all out of the job and we do things together as friends, doing whatever, then we can be closer. But we can't go out and or for lunch and do things that's not appropriate or even take days off. She would say, "Well, I need a day off because I can't do that." So through the years, when I retired, we kind of lost touch. So my motto is that friendships come for seasons, reasons, and lessons sometimes. And so that's how I kind of navigate friendships through the years, because they're sometimes, yeah. She was a good person. That work relationship, I was there for like 3 decades, almost 4.
Oh,
And then
wow.
I lose it, yeah. But it happens.
Yeah. Yeah, I would can imagine that could be difficult when one person moves to a different position and now your seniority is changed, so the friendship changes. Yeah, that is difficult to manage. Thank you for sharing that, Sharon.
The first friendship heartbreak that came to mind for me was third or fourth grade. I had been best friends with a girl in third grade, and in fourth grade, she became friends with a new girl, and I guess my fourth grade self was just extremely jealous. So I became the mean girl, and
Oh.
of course, that didn't ingratiate me to either one of them. So I had to move on with my little fourth grade self and find another best friend. But the next friendship breakup that came to mind and was a friend, about 15-year friendship, and it was over a misunderstanding. I was in my 30s. It was over a misunderstanding, and I just kind of glossed it over, thinking, she'd get over it or whatever. And as I pushed into the friendship, she would retreat. And we let some time pass. And finally, her mother, who I was very close with, called both of us in to sit and counsel with her. And her mom just kind of counseled us through some things. And we each were able to just share our perspectives of what had happened. Mom kind of pushed her to see that some jealousy was involved. And we were able to recover, but the depth of the friendship um, did not remain. We still speak to this day. We're still friends to this day, but our friendship did take on a little different tone after that. Those are my 2 friendship heartbreaks.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Your first story, I think it's important for us to sit back and look at what our behaviors were when we were children and see, what, if any of that we have brought into our adult lives, because I think, we do some of that. As adults, we bring certain elements of ourselves, of our childhood that we may not be thinking about because it was just, you were in the third or fourth grade when all of that happened. But what elements of yourself did you bring from that experience to yourself as you've gotten older? That I think that's important for us to be able to look at.
Yeah, one of the things that I know now as an adult that I didn't know at that young age was that was so heartbreaking for me because even at that young age, I'd already had a lot of experiences of abandonment,
Mhm.
and that was an abandonment. for
Mhm.
me, and even the
Yeah.
friendship as an adult, that kind of had that chasm due to a misunderstanding that felt like abandonment too. So it's
Mhm.
like these examples in my life of abandonment, and then how do I, deal with that or respond to what I consider to be abandonment when really it may not even be that, but that's how
Mhm.
I'm coloring it, seeing it, and reacting.
Mhm. And if you're not aware of it, you just be walking around feeling like everybody just abandoned you your whole life. And that's why it's so important to look at it. Thank you for sharing that. I had something similar because I've had several like childhood friendships because I moved to different places, and so you lose friendships, or you have a friend and then somebody else that's cuter, prettier might come along and they seem like more of a better friend to the other person. um, because just publicly I just wasn't the friend that at least to other school children it didn't look like that I sort of belong. And so um I wrote about that, about being heartbroken over and feeling like I wasn't chosen or people didn't like me because of what I looked like, or the way that I acted. And then as I got older, I had a friend. I was probably we were friends from high school till somewhere in my early 30s. I don't even remember why the friendship ended. But I just felt like um, like there were no more friends to be had. Like there was no, there was no more love in the world for me. Like and it was at the time when I was getting divorced, or the marriage was moving towards divorce. And I just sort of felt like, when you get divorced, you sort of feel like the world is ending. And so you just feel like nobody loves you. You don't really understand why people are leaving you. God is punishing you. And it was just really sad. And of course, now I've gotten past it. I understand, the friendship ended because I was evolving into something else and I needed something else. But at the time, that's what I really felt like. I felt like there was just no friends, no love in the world for me. That was the message that I was getting at that time. Anyone else wanted to share something before we go to the last question?
I'll share.
Yes, Sakai.
Um, I was trying to see if I had put a title on it. I just started. How did I navigate it? Not well. Still don't understand it. He said I was his bestie, his best supporter ever. Said he loved when I was in the room. I loved talking with him. He said I taught him that life was good. He honored me in front of others as a faithful friend. He seemed so genuine and true, but then he disappeared. No heads up, he was leaving, just left. I tried calling, texting, knowing it was some mistake or some emergency, that he wasn't communicating with me, his bestie. Wait, hold up. Wait a minute. I talked to his girlfriend the other day. Was she a wrench in the mix? I asked her to ask him to ask him to ask me to call me, but he doesn't. I've been ghost. Don't know why. 3-year type friendship, I thought, but obviously I mixed something. I missed something. I must have made a wrong turn, which is usual for someone with a bad sense of direction, prone to not discerning roads well. Can't see the street signs, can see them sometimes, but misinterpret what they mean. Not the first time to lose a good friend or to make a wrong turn. Signed, navigationally challenged. Can we get that listed as a disability so I could get some benefits or some SSI funds?
Mm. I love that. Thank you.
And this happened recently. I still haven't figured it out, other than I don't have a good sense of discernment
Oh,
of people.
yeah. Having good discernment of people is an important skill. I've learned later in life what discernment actually means. All All right, so the third question before we end for today, this will be a short one. Describe the kind of friendship your heart craves right now. Describe the kind of friendship your heart craves right now. And we got about 5 minutes before the top of the hour. So the question is, describe the kind of friendship your heart craves right now. I would love to hear your answers.
I'll say something. This is Clara. I'll make it real quick. I'm going to start positively by saying currently my friendships with my friends are good. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better group of women. My old church, my current church, my neighbors, old jobs, people that I've picked up along the way. um, so I'm really grateful for that. But what's missing for me is good friendships and relationships with my family. And that's a unit that was so strong, and it was truly my foundation. But I realized God has to be my foundation. And so my prayer this year is to figure out how to heal in my family. And so, we always say, oh, family and friends. We always say family and friends. And to realize that my family is the part that's hurting and broken. But now I have friends. I would like to have both to be strong, but it's not. And it's something we have to work on.
Yeah, I totally get that.
Mhm.
I have a sister. I only have one sister. I don't think we've spoken to each other in maybe 10 years. And that breaks my heart. That's sad. I don't like that, but I don't know how else to fix it if we're not speaking to each other. Yeah, so I understand it. I would love to have family and friends, but sometimes it just doesn't work out that way. Anyone else? No one else has anything they'd like to say?
I'll share what I wrote.
Yeah, Shavila.
So I wrote that my heart craves friendship in which I don't have to explain myself or be the person that the other wants, needs, or expects me to be. This is a friendship where I can share what I need to share about myself and my experiences, past or present, and not be judged. This is a friendship of mutual support where we both recognize that each of us has something to offer the other.
A friendship where you don't have to explain yourself. I love that.
Because a lot of the friendships that I've had in the past, I noticed were always based on some transactional kind of thing, like we're friends because, we both do this, or we're both interested in the same things. And your friends don't have to be interested in the same things. And when I found that when the friendships were based on um, maybe, an ideology or something, of that nature, and as time goes on, you evolve, you change, and you begin to see things from different perspectives, and you want to branch out. People seem to not be able to handle that. Or they can't handle you not being that person. So it has left me questioning some friendships from past years, like whatever really my friend was, because I supported their belief in a particular whatever idea or idea, whatever you want to call it, philosophy or lifestyle or whatever, So that's one of the reasons why I'm glad I met Carolyn, because we talk about everything, and we have different interests and we have common interests, and it's all good.
And you don't expect anything from
No,
you can just be.
yeah, she can just be, and she allows me to be, and I enjoy it.
I love that. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Yeah. All right. Well, ladies, thank you so much. We are at the top of the hour. I appreciate you all for coming and being able to talk about friendships and what they mean to us now as we grow older, and what they look like, what they used to look like. As always, I put the recording of our sessions on YouTube, so you're free to go back and look at old sessions if you'd like to. For people who are watching the recording, the circle is open. You can always sign up for the email list. There's a link in the description box. You can just put your name and your email in there and you'll get alerts from when we do these on Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. 8 a.m. Eastern Time. That's New York time for people who are in other places around the world. So thank you. I will see you all next week with a new topic.
Real quick, what is the name
Yes.
of the YouTube?
Oh, the YouTube channel is just under my name, Halana Black.
Okay, okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, ladies, have a great day.
You too.
Bye. Have a good
sisters.
one. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.